Wow, everybody's coming. Nice. Alrighty, so we'll just start in our regular, comfortable seated position, just a little crisscross applesauce. We'll close our eyes. Breathe in deeply through our nose and out from our mouth. Bringing our thoughts inward. Check in with how we are feeling right now. Remind ourselves that we are working with this body that we have at this moment, not yesterday's body, maybe not this afternoon's. So we need to let go of all of those expectations that we may have of ourselves and of our practice. Do our best to just be present. And then on our next inhale, we'll lift our hands up to the sky, open the fingers wide, drop the shoulders, breathe into the belly, reach with the fingers, and then exhale, we'll just bring them forward into a little fold. Lower our chest and our head. And then keeping our chests nice and low, we'll walk those hands over to the right, reaching across our body with that left hand, but keeping that left sitting bones down into our mat. And then we'll slowly walk those hands back to the center. One more breath here. Inhale, we'll lengthen in that spine. Exhale, let's sink down a little bit lower. And then when we're ready, walking the hands around to the left. And then back to the center. And then we'll slowly walk those hands back towards us, rounding as we roll our way back up. Good. Let's bring those hands back behind us. Pull the shoulders back, lift the heart. Little arch in the spine here. We can lift our nose up toward the sky. And then exhale, just round and maybe give ourselves a little hug. And let's do that one more time. Bringing those hands back behind, lift the heart, arch in the spine. And then exhale, rounding, give ourselves a hug. And then back to our neutral spine. We'll uncross those legs, give our little piggies a wiggle if we need, and we'll bring those feet out in front of us. Hands can just hang out behind us. Picnic pose is what we kind of call this as we just hang out on our blanket. Knees are out about a little wider than our hips. And then with our breath, we're just going to exhale, lower the knees over to one side. And then inhale back up to the center and exhale over to the other side. Good. Inhale to the center and exhale down. Just moving with our breath at our own pace. Slowly, little windshield wipers with those knees. Warm up those hips. And let's do one more to each side so we're all in this together. Good. And then back to the center. We'll tuck this right leg in front of us, and then we'll bring the left leg back behind into a bit of a little S here in our legs. Our hands will come out in front of our right shin. We'll just take a breath here, let those hips settle a little bit, and then when we're ready, just continue to walk as we breathe out into little fold. We can come out to our hands, or we can lower down to our elbows. After a bit, if we would like, we can fold all the way down, making sure that we're listening to our body, giving it what it needs and what it is capable of doing right now. Let's do one more breath here. And then slowly we'll help ourselves back up to the top, bringing those hands back behind us. And now thinking about this left knee, pressing it into the mat as we walk our hands backwards. And then we find where we're at. And it might be a gradual thing. Take a breath here with our hands on our mats. Maybe after a bit, we can walk a little bit further, maybe lower down to our elbows or all the way down to our backs. Please listen again to our body, reminding ourselves that once we get down here, we have to get back up. Directing our breath down into that quad. Do one more inhale. We'll stay for the exhale. And then slowly help ourselves up, taking as much time as we need for that to happen. And then let's bring those hands out in front of us again. Little fold here. And then inhale, coming up. And exhale, just working our way back a little bit. Because then we're going to inhale and come back up. And exhale down. And then again, inhaling, lifting. One more time. Exhale back. And And we'll inhale back up to the top. I'm going to turn so you can see where we're going. Hands can just come to the front of that right shin. And then we're going to begin to walk them around to the right into a little twist here. This left hip will want to come up and follow you. That's totally fine. And then again, if we would like, we can walk those hands out, lower down into any type of a fold that we can come up with today. Maybe we start to feel the outside of that left hip begin to let go and lengthen. Nice little twist in our spine. And then we'll help ourselves up. Good. And then coming on back around to the center here. We'll unwind those legs, bringing both feet out in front of us. We can give ourselves a little shaker, a wiggle if we need. Then we're going to move over to the other side. When we're ready, tucking that left foot in front, right foot goes back. Flexing this left foot helps protect our knee, making sure that we can direct this right hip. It may not go all the way down to the floor, but if we're like using our mind power to just kind of help it come down, that is kind of what we're working towards here. Hands will come out in front of that left shin. Take a breath or two, and again, gradually working our way into whatever version of a fold we are willing to do today. Use that breath as a helper. I'll probably stay here for another 5-ish breaths. So. And then on our next inhale, let's help ourselves back up to the top. Bring that focus over to the right knee, press it down, hands come back behind us. As we slowly lower our way back and down, think about opening up in this right thigh, the front of the hip, and pull those shoulders back, open up the chest. There's so many things that can happen right here. About 2 more breaths here. Big inhales and complete exhales. And then slowly and gently we'll help ourselves back up to the top. And then again, exhale, we'll just walk our way forward. We'll just move with our breath. Exhale, we'll go down. Inhale, coming up to the top. Hands go back. And exhale, just a little bit of a lower. And then inhale, we'll come up. Hands come forward as we exhale. Inhaling up. And exhaling back. Inhaling up, we'll do that one more time, forward and backward. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Last time, coming on back. And inhale, back up to the top. From here, hands will just go in front of that left shin. And then as we exhale, we'll just begin to walk those hands around to the left. Again, this right hip will come and follow us, that's fine. With our twists, we inhale, lengthen in the spine, and then exhale, we can deepen that twist or the fold. Let's do one more inhale here. We'll stay for the exhale. And then slowly we'll come back up. And unwind, walking our hands around to the center. Whew. We'll keep those hands in front of us. We'll just creepy crawl them forward so that we can come up onto our hands and our knees. Feel free to give ourselves that wiggle if we need. Waggle in our tail or whatever it is. Good. And now from here, we're going to tuck our toes behind us and then bring our butts right over those heels and come up, stretch out those feet a little bit. There's a ghost. I don't know if you saw the flashing lights. Good. And then the hands will come back down into our tabletop right here. Fingers are wide underneath of our shoulders. Knees are underneath of our hips, and then we just tuck our tail just the tiniest bit so that we open up in that low back. You can even use our hands every once in a while to kind of check to see if we're being active right here. Instead of drooping, we're keeping those muscles working. We're supporting our spine, pressing into the hands, opening the shoulder blades behind us. Good. And now, As we exhale, let's round the spine. We'll tuck the chin, tuck the tail, and then inhale into a cow, dropping the tummy, lifting the heart. Good. Exhale, rounding into our cat. And inhale one more time into a cow. Good. And then back to our neutral spine here, walking our hands forward, keeping our knees over our hips as we reach out in front of us, really far with those fingers, and we'll lower the chest down toward the mat. From here, fingers are pressing into our mat. We're going to keep that chin and chest close to the ground as we slowly bring our chests and shoulders forward. And then we're going to scoop our way up into an upward facing dog. Good. And then exhale, rounding as we press our way back. Hands still out in front of us. Inhale, bringing that chest forward, pressing into the hands, scooping our way up. And then rounding as we press back. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. This is like an inchworm on a treadmill. And then rounding as we come back all the way back to our heels with our butts into child's pose. Good. And then right here, we'll come back to our tabletop. Again, hands are underneath of our shoulders. Knees are underneath of our hips. Let's lift up our left hand up to the sky, opening wide. And then we'll thread the needle by taking this left hand, reaching it underneath the right, placing the shoulder onto the mat, listening with that left ear, but then keeping those hips over our knees. We don't want to shift those hips off to the side to compensate. The right hand can come out in front of us. And then we can creepy crawl those fingers over to the side to help open up the shoulders if we would like for that twist. Or we can place that right hand onto the left. But remember, we're encouraging our shoulders. We're not forcing them to do something that they are not able to do today. One more breath. And then we'll slowly unwind back to our tabletop. Find that neutral spine. And then when we're ready, lifting up the right hand, reaching with those fingers nice and high. And then when we're ready, exhale. Let's thread the needle over to the other side. One more breath here. And then when we're ready, we'll unwind, find that tabletop, and then exhale, rounding into a cat, lifting the spine, and then inhale, little cow, little tiny arch as we lift the heart. Good, back to our neutral spine. Let's walk those hands forward, just one little step. Take the right leg back behind us, reaching far with that heel, and then slowly we'll step that foot forward. The outside pinky of the right hand, working our way into a lizard pose here. Bending that right knee, bringing the knee over the top of the ankle, resting that left leg back behind us, sinking the hips, and then let's bring our chests nice and proud up toward the sky, keeping the spine long and strong, breathing into our bellies, lengthening in the neck. Now here, there. Good. And now, as we exhale, we'll walk those hands backwards. We'll bring our hips over this left knee, bringing the toes, pointing them up to the sky on the right leg. And now our hands can come to our thigh, to our shin. If we can reach the floor, that's great. But what we don't want to do, again, is round. So we're thinking of a nice long spine, hinging at the hips into a little tiny split here. Good, and then on our next inhale, we'll bend that right knee, bringing our hips forward. Chest is nice and high. And now as we breathe, exhale, working our way back. And then inhale, we'll come forward. And exhale back. You guessed it, inhaling forward. We'll do this a couple more times. Just take your time. Move at whatever pace your body needs to go. Last inhale, coming forward. Both hands, find the mat inside that right foot. Proud chest, sinking those hips down. Good. And now from here, I'm gonna turn so we can see what's going on. We're just gonna come up to a high half lunge. Our hands can come to the thigh at first, if we would like, just so that we can get those hips going. The chest is proud, shoulders are going down our back. And then we'll bring those hands, prayer hands to our hearts, pressing into those palms. Continue to pull the shoulders back, lift the heart. Maybe we get a tiny arch in the back, little tiny. We're not trying to break any records here. Inhaling here, and then exhale, we're gonna take this left elbow all the way around. Try and touch the knee or the thigh of that right leg. Using those hands to help open up the shoulders. Good. And then slowly we'll unwind. Hands can come down to our mats. Stepping back with that right foot. Let's come back to a child's pose. Walking those fingers out in front of us, reaching with those arms. And let's do our funky little inchworm again, bringing the shoulders forward, elbows back. Inhale into an upward facing dog. And then back to our child's pose. One more time, keeping that chest low. And then scooping our way up into an upward facing dog. And then back to our child's pose. And up to our tabletop. Hands will come out in front of us just a little bit. We'll reach back with that left leg. And then when we're ready, stepping it forward to the outside of that left hand. Take our time, wiggle our way into our lizard on this side. Exhaling, sinking those hips down, lifting the heart, lengthening in that neck. Good. And then on our next exhale, let's walk back. We'll find our half split. So hips will go over that right knee. Left toes point up to the sky. Our hands can come to our thigh or to our shin. But we're thinking about tilting in the pelvis, not rounding in the back. About bringing our chest toward the toes. Maybe we start to feel our tummy connect with our thigh, or we're getting in that general vicinity. And then this inhale will come forward. And then with our breath back and forth. So exhale will come back. Inhale will come forward. Exhale back. And forward. And back. Let's do one more time. And last time, coming on back. Good. Inhaling. Coming forward, hands can find the mat. Settle ourselves into that lizard again. And then when we're ready, we find that balance. We can come up to a high half lunge. Hands can come to the thigh, or if we would like, we can reach them up to the sky. And then we'll bring the hands together at our hearts, pressing firmly into those palms, pulling the shoulders back, opening the heart. When we're ready, taking that right elbow and exhale, twisting to the left, placing the elbow onto that left thigh or knee. Keep sinking down into that lunge, lengthening in the spine and then twisting by pressing into those palms. And then on our next exhale, let's release. Hands can come back down. Woo. We'll step back and we'll find our child's pose. Oh, we totally earned that. Knees can be wide or they can be put together. You'll get a different sensation in either variation. Arms are out in front of us, and we'll just take a few breaths here. Arms are out in front of us, pressing into those palms. One more inchworm, bringing the chest low and forward. Elbows are back. Inhale, we'll come up to an upward facing dog. Pressing into those hands, hips are coming forward, chests are lifting high. And then we're gonna just lower ourselves all the way down onto our tummies. Give ourselves a bit of a wiggle if we need. And then our arms will be into like a goalpost configuration or like little cactus arms. Take a breath or two here. Good. And then we're going to keep this right arm where it's at here in its goalpost. Think about bringing that shoulder toward the mat. You may not get it all the way there, but again, we're using our brain power to just kind of help it in that general direction. Left hand can press into the mat. And then we'll step back with that left foot. Maybe we can reach the floor. Maybe it just hovers out into space. That's fine too. Good. And then slowly we'll come back to the center. Hands can come underneath of our head. And then this left knee will come out to the side into like a little half frog. So knee will come bent about the same height as your hips. The right leg is just long behind us. And we can just rest our head on our hands. We can just let gravity do its work. One more breath here. And then we can even use those toes, just kind of wiggle that leg back to the center. Give ourselves a little shake or a waggle. And then we'll find those goalpost arms again. Concentrating on this left side, pressing the hand, forearm, and then trying to bring that shoulder in towards our mats. And we'll take the right leg, stepping back. We can press with the right hand, open up in that shoulder. And even with this leg, we might be able to get some love into the front of our hip, a little twist in the spine. I don't know if it's laziness or efficiency, but I like to get as much as I possibly can out of one pose. Maybe it's just to think that I'm multitasking. And then we'll slowly unwind. We'll take that right knee out to the side and place it down onto the mat, about the same height as our hips. Hands can come underneath of our head here. Left leg is just out behind us, ever so relaxed and soft. Think about directing our breath down into the hips. Good, one big inhale here. And then as we exhale, let's just walk that foot back behind us. Let it find its buddy. Give ourselves a waggle. Good. And then let's place those hands underneath of our shoulders. Pull those elbows back behind us. And then from here, let's scoop our chest forward and then up into an upward facing dog. One more time. Press back to our child's pose. Take a breath here. Round in the spine. And then we'll swish our feet over to the side. We'll come down onto our butts, bringing those legs out in front of us, hugging those knees into our chest. And then we'll rock back onto our backs. We can even give ourselves a little yogi massage, rocking back and forth or side to side. We can move around in those hip sockets if we need. And then after we're done wiggling, we'll roll up into our little egg. And let's lift those legs up to the sky, flexing the feet, and then hands will touch behind the thighs or the knees. Maybe we can get those calves, but we're not gonna force them. We're just going to use those fingertips oh so gently to encourage those legs towards us. We can relax the head and the shoulders into our mats. If we need, we can definitely bend the knees. Our hamstrings are a little tight or a little stiff today. That's totally fine. Bend the knees and still hinge here at the hips. And we'll still get some love in the hamstrings. Maybe we just inch our way. And now let's bend those knees again. Roll up into our ball. Again, feet come up to the sky. Encourage those legs toward us just a little bit. And then release, just let those legs relax up there. We can reach with our fingers and then we'll wiggle our fingers and our toes. We'll roll around in our wrists and our ankles for Krakalasana. That's not really Sanskrit, just so you know. And then once we've gotten all of those little wiggles out, reaching with the fingers, reaching with the legs, and then exhale, lowering both sets of appendages down to the mat. Once we get down there, we make ourselves as long as we possibly can. And then one more big exhale. Release everything. Hands can come to our sides, or if you would like, we can rest on our heart or on our belly. We close our eyes. We soften our jaw. We take the next couple of breaths to just allow ourselves to relax and give ourselves permission to just be still. Because the rest is equally as important as the work. We deepen our breath. We slowly bring gentle movement into our fingers and into our toes. We gently come back into our space. When we're ready, we'll bring our knees into our chest and roll over onto our side and help ourselves up to seated. We'll take this moment to check in with how we are feeling now after our practice, after our Shavasana. We'll bring our hands together at our hearts. We'll lower our heads and give ourselves thanks for all of the gifts that we just gave us. And I am so, so grateful that you shared your time with me today, allowed me to help you through your practice. I hope that we feel even just a little tiny bit better than what we did, or how we felt when we started. I wish you all a very, very happy rest of your day. And reminding you that from this moment on, we are starting completely fresh. Whatever has happened before this practice is in the past, and we probably can't do anything about it. So we will move forward with our heads held high and our noses pointed toward the sun. The light in the divine in me recognizes and respects the light in the divine in each of you. And when we are together, whether physically or virtually, we are one. Namaste. Thank you so, so much. How are we feeling?
Feeling great. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks so much.